Now, the next topic is the principle of increase of entropy. So what is basically this principle says that before that we will discuss the entropy balance equation, and we have already explained that for any of the systems, suppose this is our system, then some of the entropy will come and entropy will transfer to the out, and this is your delta S for system, and within the system entropy generation will take place. Then there is an entropy balance equation, and this entropy balance equation says that S in minus S out plus S generation is equal to delta S system. Okay, where this S in minus S out, this is the entropy transfer, that is the external entropy. And this is due to transfer. And S generation is your internal entropy, and this generated due to irreversibility. And this is the delta S of the system, that is S final minus S initial. Now suppose, so this is your entropy balance equation. Okay, and since we know that entropy is a property, so for steady flow equation, S dot in minus S dot out plus S dot generation, that becomes d by dt of delta S, where this dot means that is the rate of the entropy, and since it is a property, so this value becomes 0. So this is nothing but it is S dot in minus S dot out plus S generation, this becomes 0. This is the entropy, rate form of the entropy for steady flow process. This is again an important one, and we also know that this entropy transfer takes place due to only heat transfer and mass transfer. Okay, so from the entropy balance equation, so S in minus S out plus S generation is equal to delta E system, that we have already discussed. Now this S in minus S out, and this is the S generation. We know that for an irreversible path, S generation value will always be a positive number, that is S in minus S out plus S generation is equal to delta S system. So this S generation will always be a positive number, positive quantity. Positive quantity for irreversible process, and this is equal to 0 for reversible process. Suppose if our system is an isolated system, for an isolated system, what is an isolated system? Isolated system is that, suppose this is our system and this is our surrounding. What is your isolated system? Isolated system is system in which there is no interaction between the system and surrounding takes place. Okay, so S in minus S out, this terms will be 0 because no interaction takes place. Therefore, S generation is equal to delta S system, but the system must be an isolated. And since we know that S generation is always being a positive quantity, therefore delta S system will always be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, delta S system will always be greater than or equal to 0, and this system is nothing but it is an isolated system. Okay, so if we combined the system and surrounding, this, so this, the red block is nothing but this is our universe, in which system and surrounding both interacting with each other, but within the universe nothing will be interacting. Means everything comes under the universe. That's right. An perfect isolated system is your universe. So we can say that delta S for universe is always greater than or equal to 0. And this principle is basically known as principle of generation, increases of entropy. Means the entropy of the universe always trying to be increasing. What its physical meaning, the physical interpretation of this, that entropy of the any system is always tending to increase. It means the system always tending to randomness, which is very much spontaneous. For making them very systematic, we have to apply some force. Suppose for a class in a class, so students are always being random, which is and spontaneous. They are moving to and fro. But if you want to keep the student entirely on their benches and they have to be very systematically sitting in the classroom, then a teacher must have to be present. That means an external means have to be, an external force is to be there within the system so that the students are arranged in a proper way. Otherwise, they are tending to randomness. They are tending to what we say that disorganized way. Okay, so it means the entropy of the system is always increasing. On a other way, we can say that suppose there is a chamber and gases are there. Okay, many gases are present, so there are many molecules of these gases. So they move to and fro. They are moving at randomness. The degree of freeness is very high. So they tend to move randomly. But if you want to keep them in a systematic order, in a streamlined motion, then we have to apply some external means, some external force. So spontaneously, we can say that the entropy of the universe is always, of any system or universe or any system, is always tending to increase. Okay, so this phenomena is known as the principle of increasing of entropy. Which is this one, that the principle of system universe is increasing. And we have already seen that universe is nothing but it comprises of the system and surrounding. So the entropy of the system plus entropy of the surrounding summation will be equal to, greater than or equal to 0. Suppose if we have a system in such a way that there are, this is suppose a system and there are some small systems like S1, S2, S3, they are the subsystems. Then, and this is your S system. Then delta S of system means the change in entropy of the full system is nothing but it is delta S1, that is the entropy change for first system, plus delta S2, that is entropy change of second system, plus delta S3, that is entropy change of the third system, and suppose there are n number of the systems are there, then this is nothing but this is plus delta Sn. That is the entropy change of all the systems. So similarly, for a universe, the system and surroundings are there, then delta S universe is always greater than or equal to 0, and universe comprises of the system and surrounding. That's why delta S system plus delta S surrounding, this is always greater than. This phenomenon is known as the principle of increase of entropy. What is the principle of increase of? Okay. Now, on the basis of the principle of increase of entropy, many formulation has been done that we will describe this one by one. So, there is the application of this principle. The first we are just going to start with the transfer of heat through a finite diffusion. Transfer of heat through finite temperature difference. Now suppose we have two temperature and there is a finite, then T1 and T2, they are the two system, and heat obviously T1 is greater than T2. So since T1 is greater than T2, then heat will flow in this direction. Okay, so this is the heat flow, and there is no loss of the heat, then whatever the amount of heat is transferring from T1, that all will be received through T2. So delta S1, that is the entropy change of the first one, is nothing but it is minus Q upon T1. Why it is minus Q? Because heat is coming out of the system. So that's why delta S1 is minus Q upon T2. Delta S2, that is the change in entropy of the second body, so that becomes Q upon T2, and this Q is nothing but that will be a positive because heat is coming inside the system. So delta S of this system is nothing but it is delta S1 plus delta S2, that becomes minus Q by T1 plus Q upon T2. So if you check it out, that is 1 upon T2 minus 1 upon T1, or this becomes Q upon T1 T2 into T1 minus T2. And since we have already assumed that T1 is greater than T2, so this number will be positive number. So delta S will always be greater than or equal to 0, which satisfies the principle of increase of entropy. Okay, that we have already proved, that is Q of T1 minus T2 upon T1. So this is basis on the principle of increase of entropy. Now the next one is your adiabatic mixing of two fluids. Now suppose we have given a chamber which have been partitioned, and a gas with initial mass m1 and specific heat is c1 and at a temperature of T1, and there is another part with the mass of gas is m2, its specific heat is c2 and temperature is T2, and the gas will be adiabatically enclosed. Now after some time this partition has been removed. Once the partition has been removed, then both the gases will start mixing with each other, and after mixing we have to find out what will be the entropy change of this entire system. So that we have to calculate. Okay. Adiabatic mixing of fluid. Adiabatic mixing of fluid. So for making the calculation, you see we are taking it is M1 C1, temperature initial is T1, M2 C2 and T2, and later on we will take the gas of the same, that is C1 and C2 will be equal. But right now I am taking this one. Before mixing, its temperature will be T1 and T2. Let the final temperature of gas after mixing be Tf. Okay, and this is a adiabatically enclosed system. This is our subsystem 1 and this is our subsystem. Okay, so according to the first law of thermodynamics, E in minus E out is equal to delta E system. Since there is nothing will be coming in and nothing goes out, so the E in and E out is equal to 0. Delta E, now let us assume that kinetic and potential energy is being neglected. Then in that case, it is only the change in internal energy. So change in internal energy of the system is known as 0. Okay, means U final is equal to U initial. What is the final internal energy? And what is the initial internal energy? Final internal energy is M1C1T8 plus M2C2T8. This is equal to initial internal energy is M1C1T1 plus M2C2T2. Therefore, the final temperature of the gas after mixing becomes M1C1T1 plus M2C2T2 divided by M1C1 plus M2C2. So this is the final temperature of the gas after the mixing. Okay, and now we are assuming that T1 is greater than T2. Means once the heat this partition will be removed, then heat will transfer from this to this partition. Okay, within the system there is a movement of the masses from T1 to T2. Okay, so this is the final temperature of the gas. So now let us assume, for making the calculation easy, let M1 is equal to M2 is equal to M, and the C1 is equal to C2 is equal to C. In that case, the final temperature will become M1C1, that is T1, that is MCT1 plus MCT2 upon MC plus MC. That becomes T1 plus T2 upon T. So this is the final temperature of the gas after the mixing. So the change in entropy of subsystem 1, which changes its temperature from T1 to T8. Okay, so this is, let it be delta S1. This is equal to integration dq upon T. So this value and this value will become M C dt upon T, and temperature from T1 to T8. Obviously, its temperature decreases from T1 to T8, that's why energy will be released. So MC ln Tf upon T. So this is your delta S1. Similarly, change in entropy of the subsystem 2 which comes from T2 to Tn, that is delta S2. This delta S2 is equal to sine integration d2 upon t, that is mc dt from T2 to Tf. So delta S2 is equal to mc ln Tf upon T. Now this value will be positive because if this subsystem receives the heat, as we have shown here, that subsystem 1 it rejects the heat and subsystem 2 receives the heat. That's why entropy of this subsystem will increase and entropy of this system will decrease. Now the total entropy of this system will be equal to delta S1 plus delta S2. So delta S total is equal to delta S1 plus delta S2. So this becomes mc ln Tf upon T1 plus mc ln Tf upon T. So this value will becomes mc ln Tf square upon T1 T2, or we can say that mc ln Tf upon under root T1 T2 whole square, or we can say that delta S total is equal to 2mc ln Tf upon under root T1 T2. And what is the value of Tf? It is T1 plus T2 upon 2. This becomes 2mc ln T1 plus T2 upon 2 under root T1 T2. So this is your delta S total. Okay. Now this is the delta S total. Means this is the delta S of this system, means change in entropy of this system, because this is our system and the rest is our surrounding, and this system is an isolated, so there is no interaction between the surroundings. So it means delta S system is nothing but it is the delta S surrounding is equal to 0. Delta S universe is equal to delta S total, and this value is equal to 2mc ln T1 plus T2 upon 2 under root T1 T2. Now we have to check whether this is an increasing or not. So since T1 and T2 are the two quantities, T1 and T2 are two quantities, they are the positive quantities. So what is the arithmetic mean of this two? That is T1 plus T2 upon 2. And what is the geometric mean of these two? That is under root T1 T2. And we always know from mathematics that arithmetic mean is always greater than or equal to geometric mean. Means T1 plus T2 upon 2 will always be greater than or equal to under root T1 T2. This shows that T1 plus T2 upon 2 under root T1 T2. This is always greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, delta S universe is always greater than or equal to 2mc. This value is greater than ln 1, means this value will be always a positive. So this delta S universe will always be greater than or equal to 0. Hence it follows the principle of increase of entropy. The delta S universe for adiabatic mixing of the fluid will becomes 2mc ln of T1 plus T2 upon under root twice of T1. So this is an important result, and many times the question has been directly asked on this formula. So you have to remember this formula, but while keeping using this relation, always remember that the mass of both the system initially are equal and their internal capacity, their heat capacities are also equal. That is C1 equal to C2 equal to C and M1 equal to M2 is equal to M. That is the mass of the system. So this is the adiabatic mixing of the food. Now the next one is the maximum work that can be obtained from two finite bodies at temperature T1 and T2. Okay, so this is again a very important one, and many times the question has been directly asked and it has been assumed we have to calculate the maximum amount of the work which will be received if two bodies 1 and 2 are working. A heat engine is working in between these two bodies, and the temperature of the body 1 will change from T1 to Tf, and the temperature of the body 2 changes from T2 to Tf. We have to find out how much of the amount of the maximum work that can be obtained. Okay. Now suppose this is at temperature T1, this is a heat engine which is working between the two bodies. This is temperature T2. The temperature this changes from T1 to Tf. Temperature of this body changes from T1 to Tf. It rejects the heat Q1 and it absorbs the heat Q2. And this engine delivers W amount of work. So we have to find out W maximum. What should be the value of maximum work that can be obtained working by the heat engine. Okay, so this is a body. Its initial temperature is T1 and which reaches to the final temperature Tf. And this is the body whose initial temperature is at T2 and it rejects the temperature Tf. So Q1 minus Q2 is equal to W. So we have to find out this W. What is this maximum? Now what is the Q1? What is the value of Q1? Q1 is nothing but it is the amount of the heat which has been released through this body. So what is this value? That is MC T1 minus Tf minus Q2. What is the Q2? Q2 is nothing but it is the amount of the heat received by this body. We have assumed that the mass and internal capacities of the bodies are same. That is MC into Tf minus T. So what is this? This is your W. Now the W will be equal to MC T1 plus T2 minus 2 times of Tf, where M and C is the mass and specific heat of the bodies, and we have assumed that the value for both the bodies are same. And T1 is the initial temperature of the body, T2 is the initial temperature of the second body. Okay, so this is our first equation. Now since this body changes its temperature from T1 to Tf, so obviously the entropy change of this body, the change in entropy of body 1, change in entropy of body is delta S1. This is equal to integration dq upon T, that is equal to mc dt divided by T integration from T1 to Tf. So delta S1, what is its value? MC ln Tf upon T. This is our first answer. Similarly, the change in entropy of the body too while it receives the amount of heat Q2. This is Q2 to Tf. So this becomes mc ln Tf upon T. This is delta S. And what is the change in internal energy? Sorry, change in entropy of heat engine. This is equal to 0 for adiabatic reversible heat engine. Okay, so delta S system, delta S universe, which universe comprises of body 1 plus body 2 plus heat engine. That is delta S1 plus delta S2 plus delta H2. So this value delta S1 is mc ln Tf upon T1 plus mc ln Tf upon T2. So this becomes mc ln Tf square upon T1 T2. This is the delta S universe. And since we know that by the principle of increase of entropy, this value must have to be greater than or equal to 0. If this value has to be positive, then Tf square upon T1 T2 must have to be greater than 1. Therefore, Tf square upon T1 T2 must have to be greater than or equal to 1. Or we can say that Tf square is greater than or equal to T1 T2, or Tf will be greater than or equal to under root T1 T2. Therefore, since we know that work obtained is nothing but it is mc T1 plus T2 minus 2 Tf. So least value of Tf is under root T1 T2. This is the least value. When this value will be the least, then W will be the maximum. So maximum work obtained is equal to mc T1 plus T2 minus 2 under root T1 T2. And if we see this, then this can be written as mc under root T1 minus under root T2 whole square. So maximum amount of the work which can be obtained when two bodies are working and a heat engine is working between these two bodies, that will be equal to mc under root of T1 minus under root of T2 whole square, where mc is the mass and specific heat of the body. That is mc, that is your Cp. Okay, so that is under root T1 minus under root T2 whole square. So this is the maximum amount of the work that can be obtained from two finite body sources by a heat engine working in between these two sources. Okay, so this is again a very, very important result. Now the next article is to find the maximum amount of the work that can be obtained from a finite body and a thermal energy reservoir. So now in this case, a body has been used and there is a thermal energy reservoir which is at a temperature of T0. So we have to find out how much amount of the work, maximum amount of the work that can be obtained. So in the earlier part, it is a body over here with a temperature T2, but here this body has been removed with the help of a thermal energy reservoir at a temperature T0. Means this temperature remains always constant. So in that case, we have to find out how much amount of the maximum work that can be obtained. Okay, so that we will do again. Now suppose this is body at temperature T1, a heat engine is working, there is a thermal energy reservoir and this is at a temperature of T1. This heat engine produces W amount of work, it receives Q amount of heat and it rejects Q minus W. And so when the transfer of heat takes place, the transfer of heat takes place when the temperature of this body reaches to the temperature of the thermal energy reservoir. Okay, so we have to find out this W maximum. That we have to calculate. Okay. Now suppose this is a body. Initially it is at a temperature T1 and now it reaches to the temperature T0. So how much amount of the heat it has been drawn? So Q is equal to mc. That is mc is nothing but we have written as Cp, that is or this is m into C into T minus T0. T1 minus T. But T1 is the initial temperature of this body. And what is the entropy change of this body? I am writing delta S1, that is the entropy change of this body, that is mc dt upon T integrating from T1 to T0. So this value becomes mc ln T0 upon. Similarly, what is the change in entropy of the second body, that is thermal energy reservoir? Delta S of TER, thermal energy reservoir. Since its temperature remains constant and it receives Q minus W amount of heat, so total amount of heat, since it is at a constant temperature, that Q minus W upon T. Okay, and what is the entropy change of heat engine? So entropy change of heat engine is equal to 0. Therefore, total entropy change, that is the entropy change of this universe, is nothing but it is delta S1 plus entropy change of thermal energy reservoir plus entropy change of heat engine. So this is equal to mc ln T0 upon T1 plus Q minus W divided by T0, and this is equal to 0. And we know by the principle of increase of entropy delta S inverse, this value will always be greater than or equal to 0. So the value of mc ln T0 upon T1 plus Q minus W upon T0, this should be greater than or equal to 0. Or multiplying by T0, so T0 mc ln T0 upon T1 plus Q minus W is greater than or equal to 0. Or W should be less than or equal to Q plus mc T0 ln T0 upon T1. What is the value of Q? Q is nothing but it is mc T1 minus T0 minus T0 into mc ln T1 upon T2. So W is always less than or equal to mc T1 minus T0 minus T0 ln T1 upon T0. Therefore, maximum amount of the work that can be obtained is equal to mc T1 minus T0 minus T0 ln T1 upon. So this is the maximum amount of the work that can be obtained when a heat engine is working between a finite body and a thermal energy reservoir. So this much amount of electricity, this much amount of electricity. So these are some important relations which based on the principle of increase of entropy.